Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today. We are live now. Over to you, Siri.
สวัสดีน้องๆนะคะที่เข้าร่วมสัมมนาออนไลน์เรียนต่อด้านธุรกิจที่ University of Derby นะคะสำหรับน้องๆท่านใดที่มีข้อสงสัยหรืออยากสอบถามเพิ่มเติมเนี่ยสามารถพูดคุยแล้วก็พบปะกับคุณแอนนานะคะตัวแทนมหาลัยจากUniversity of Derby แล้วก็ทำความรู้จักกับหลักสูตรด้านธุรกิจที่ University Business School ของเราให้มากขึ้นนะคะในช่วง Q&A สำหรับน้องๆที่มีคำถามให้พิมพ์คำถามลงไว้ในช่องแชทนะคะเดี๋ยวในช่วง Q&A 15 นาทีสุดท้ายเดี๋ยวเราจะมาตอบคำถามกันค่ะยังไงเดี๋ยวไปฟังสัมมนาได้เลยค่ะ Shall we start?
Hi everybody, thank you. So my name's Anna. I'm the International Officer for Southeast Asia here at the University of Derby, and I'm joined by Melanie Powell from Derby Business School. So today we're going to talk to you about the University of Derby and why we think you should make Derby your first choice when studying in the UK. So we'll start with an overview of the city of Derby and the university, and then we'll talk you through business programs in a bit more detail. So once you join the University of Derby, if you did choose Derby, our international students get lots of support from our college student centres. So we've actually been ranked #1 in the world for formally in the UK for formally welcoming international students, and #1 for University for Multicultural Learning and for faith provision, which is something we're really proud of. We put together a kind of package of welcome for you, which includes picking you up from international airports in the UK and bringing you back to Derby, as well as welcome events for international students, as well as those events that we put on for all our other students as well. In terms of travelling to the UK, when I'm out in Thailand, I often get asked, where is Derby? So Derby is actually in the centre of the United Kingdom. It's in an area we call the East Midlands, and it's close to cities that you might have heard of, like Nottingham and Birmingham. It's actually one of the most central cities in the UK. So we've got really, really good transport links around England, into Scotland and Wales. So you can use it as a base for exploring the United Kingdom. We're about an hour and a half north of London on the train, and to get to Manchester is about an hour and a half as well. So we're very central. If you are flying in from Bangkok, you can fly directly to London on some flights. It takes about 13.5 hours. Or you can actually come into some of the airports which are closer to Derby. So the biggest international airports near to us are Birmingham and Manchester, and you can fly into there if you connect, usually in kind of the Middle East or somewhere around there. In terms of the city of Derby, it's actually very affordable to live in the city of Derby. And we're also a very safe and welcoming city. So we've been awarded a Purple Flag, which is a scheme in the United Kingdom that recognises Derby as being safe and welcoming, as well as a diverse city. So as well as having lots of shops and restaurants, we have some very nice parks as well. So there's a park called Mark Eaton Park, which is near our campus. It's just across the road, and it's a really nice place to take a stroll or have your lunch. Lots of students like to go there and study and kind of socialise. But we also have a big shopping mall as well, and like I say, lots of restaurants. So there's lots of things going on in the city of Derby. We've got a diverse international student population, so students from all over the world, from about 100 countries, studying at both undergraduate and postgraduate level. And it's a lively city that's home to Creator and Bombardier. In terms of our campus, we're actually spread out across an area of the city centre that we sometimes call the university quarter of the city. So our main university buildings and campus is at Kedleston Road, which is just slightly out of the city centre. At Kedleston Road, you can find our sports centre, the multi-faith centre, the library, the Union of Students. And then between that and the city centre of Derby, we have several other buildings. So, for example, we have Markeaton Street, which has many of our engineering courses. We have Britannia Mill that has art and design courses. And then right in the city centre, we have 1 Friargate Square, which is our law building. And excitingly, we're actually going to be building a new business school just next door to the law building, hopefully set to open in the next couple of years. So the area of the city has lots of university buildings, and between those buildings are all of our accommodation buildings. So you can choose where you want to live depending on how close you want to be to your lectures or to the restaurants or shops in town. But it's all a short walk away from each other. So it's a compact area of the city. You're probably looking at 15-20 minutes walk max between the city centre and the furthest building. So it's nice and easy to get around. In terms of postgraduate study at the University of Derby, there's a full range of postgraduate qualifications across flexible study options at the university. So today we're going to focus on the business programs, and we're going to talk about our campus-based courses. So with these, most of the learning will be on campus, and it will include traditional lectures, seminars, discussion groups, projects, and different things. And we also use technology and media to bring the most up-to-date learning resources. So you'll have access to resources online as well. Melanie will talk a little bit more about that. Across the postgraduate programs at the University of Derby, you'll find lecturers who are still working in their field and who have really good industry connections. So many of them are active and respected in their field, which helps to bring the most up-to-date learning to our students here at the university. So I'm going to pass over to Melanie now, who's going to introduce Derby Business School and tell you a little bit more about the programs we have available.
Hello, it's nice to see here, and thanks for coming. My name's Melanie, and I'm the course director, so I have overall responsibility for the postgraduate programs in Derby Business School, and I am also a program leader, so I run some of the programs, and I also teach because I'm one of the academic economists in the business school. So I'll tell you a little bit about the Derby Business School. We've been established for a very long time. We have undergraduate programs in business and management, but we have a lot of postgraduate programs as well that might be of interest to you. And those are what I'm going to talk to you about today. The Derby Business School is very well accredited. We have links with CIM, we have links with the Chartered Accounting Institute, but we have been awarded recently the Small Business Charter, and that's the recognition of all the work that we do with our students who are running their own small-scale enterprises and working with small businesses in our local economy. So we have some great experience of working with small businesses as well as some of the major global companies that operate in and around the region, of which there are many. We're a full member of the European Foundation for Management Development. This is important because this is a major European network that brings together business schools and global corporations. So it enhances our network, and it enhances the network that our students are able to work with, that allows them to meet and be mentored by and be advised by people at the top of global corporations. So that's a great advantage of being with Derby. So next slide, please. This is actually a picture of what we hope our new business school is going to be like. You can see, you've already seen where our current business school is, and it's got great facilities on the main campus. But because we're expanding, we are going to be building a new business school very close to the campus. But on our existing campus, we've got great facilities. We've got our library, which has fantastic resources. It has study space for our students, and it also has a massive amount of digital facilities as well. You can get digital online access to books as well as our journal articles, which you'd certainly need for postgraduate study. The study areas are there for students with the electronic connections as well. We have a multi-million-pound sports centre right on the campus with excellent facilities, and our students really get the chance to engage in regional sport and also through our Union of Student, all the different sports societies that they have. We also have lots of cafes and food facilities for our students on campus, and our campus is very close to all of our major accommodation. The current business school is centered on the campus and will be until the new business school is built and opened, hopefully in September 2024. But our current facilities are really excellent, and the students love the main campus. Next slide, please. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of our postgraduate programs that might interest you. The programs that you see here are those where you would normally have a business degree of some description. Now, that might include an economics degree or an accounting and finance degree, a marketing degree, but a business-related degree to apply. And certainly if you've got the right qualifications, and we'll talk about that a little later, in a business-related degree, you would be able to apply for one of these programs. So as you can see, there's quite a range. So the issue is really, why do students pick one rather than another? And it rather depends on where you see your future career developing. If you want to gain a management qualification, then generally students tend to go for a Master of Business Administration, where you're learning more about the practicalities of management in corporations. But many of our students also want to develop skills that allow them to work in smaller scale organizations, not necessarily as a corporate manager, but with a really good idea about the global factors that affect business, because they may be exporting from a smaller scale business. So we've got a range of international business degrees. Some of our students want to specialize in marketing or in media specialisms, and so a degree like MSc Marketing might be appropriate. Some students have an undergraduate degree in accounting and finance, and they really want to go on and study accounting or be qualified as an accountant or in finance. And then maybe the MSc Accounting and Finance degree would be appropriate, because when you finish that degree, you can move straight into professional qualifications. As we all know, through COVID, and certainly even more recently, supply chains have been a big issue and a growing issue, and the limitations of supply and the effects it has in markets have become very, very apparent in the last few years. And our MSc Global Operations and Supply Chain would suit somebody who wants to really go into the supply chain area. So you might be thinking about being a manager in a major port or in a logistics system, in shipping, something like that. And if you were, then that would be a very good way to start a career in that sort of business. So it's really to show you that we have a range of degrees to suit students whose ambitions are different, but all relating to business and management. So next slide, please. So what I'm going to do is just take you briefly through those programs to give you an idea of the similarities and the differences in these programs. The slide you see here, you can see it's got the MBA Global and the MBA Global Finance. They actually contain core modules, and you can see the first 5 modules are core modules. So whichever of those 2 degrees you did, you would study those core modules, and you can see you'd study management performance, you'd study aspects of strategic management and leadership, global operations, which is of course around supply chains. You would study research methods, because you need to apply your theory and your understanding to a research project. And you can see the dissertation. Every postgraduate program that we run, and in the UK it's standard as well, 1/3 of your degree would be research. So you would be doing your own research project with the help of the supervisor, and that basically covers 60 credits, which is a third of your degree. So to get a postgraduate degree, you need 180 credits, of which a third is going to be your dissertation. We can talk a little bit more about that later if you're interested, but you can see the difference between the MBA Global and the MBA Global Finance is the option choice. So on the MBA Global, you get one option choice. You pick either risk management or global supply chain. So it allows you to diversify your specialisms into one of those areas. And on global finance, it's either international finance, which is about managing risk on interest rates and exchange rates, or mergers and acquisitions, which is about the growth, the main way that organizations grow globally. Okay, next slide, please. So I'm now going to talk to you about the 4 MSc International Business programs. These programs focus less on management and more about how the global international business system works. So they have a different perspective. Students still go on to train as managers, but they have more of a global business mindset rather than a management mindset. And so it gives them more flexibility. So you can see on international business at this MSc, you can see that the first 5 modules, again, are core, and then you get a choice of 2 options. So every student that studies on one of these 4 programs will study international economics and international business strategy. For MSc International Business, you have a law module on trade law, international trade law, because really understanding trade law is fundamental to understanding how businesses structure and function globally. You also study market analysis, and you'll be able to undertake your own market analysis of any major market when you've finished that module. And again, you can see the dissertation, which accounts for 60 credits. So it would be your choice of topic that suits the program, and you would have an academic supervisor to help you build that. We also teach you the research methods as well as part of that to help you work. And you can see the option choices are very wide ranging. You can study some human resource management, you can study finance, you can study marketing, you can study mergers and acquisitions and international finance. And if you notice it's the same module, you would be studying on that option alongside the MBA students. So we try to bring our students together at some stage so that you can work with other students studying different degrees. Next slide, please. So on MSc International Business and Finance, you can notice that finance is in the title. So if you weren't sure what program, what career pathway you wanted to take, you might go for MSc International Business. But if you wanted to focus in a finance area, so be a manager in a banking sector or a non-bank financial global organization, you might want the term finance in your program. So it's designed for those kinds of students. You can see you study the same core modules, research methods and economics and business strategy, but you also have a core in investment behavior, strategic finance, and you get international banking and finance law, because it's important to understand that international context of banking and finance if you want to work in that sector. And then you get the same choice of options, a wide range to help you diversify your understanding and your general knowledge. So next slide, please. Now here you see this is the same program, MSc International Business, but with a specialism in human resource management. This is becoming a much more interesting area to work in, and far more students are applying to do this, because talent development in big corporations is a really big area now. And so you can see you study the same things as the other students, but this time you do international resourcing and talent management as a specialist core, and leading, managing and developing people. So you really get to learn and understand about the theory and application of human resource management. And again, you would do your dissertation, and you get a range of options to choose from as well, some in human resource management and some in more general international business. So next slide, please. So this is the last in the 4 of the MSc International Business programs. This is MSc International Business and Marketing. Again, you do the same core modules, the first two, but then you study marketing subjects specifically. So if you've got an idea that you really want to be in the marketing, in the management capacity, so you don't want to be a creative marketer, but you want to actually be managing the marketing process in a major corporation, then you might apply for this program. And you can see you do study law as well. You study intellectual property rights globally, but you study brand management and market analysis as well. And you get some options you can see there again for the international business side. So next slide, please. Msc Accounting and Finance. This is the one program where you need a specialist undergraduate degree. You would need to have an accounting and finance degree to take this program. And what this program does is it prepares you for the ACCA International Professional Level examinations. So if you really want to be a qualified accountant internationally, then you could take this program. You would end up with your MSc and you would have studied all the modules that you need to take the professional qualification from ACCA, the Association of Chartered and Certified Accountants. So this is really one way to move into a professional career in accounting and finance, but you do need that undergraduate degree in accounting and finance to do that. And again, you can see it has core modules, it has a dissertation, and it has options as well to allow you to have a diverse choice of subjects. So next slide, please. So I think we've covered Msc management, marketing management. Ah, yes, global supply chain. Okay. So as I talked about before, you know, the issues around COVID-19 have really highlighted the importance of the global supply chain and the risks involved, the whole of a global business. The supply chains are not functioning. So if you're interested in the supply chain area of business and you think you want to go for a career in this area, either within a corporation or in the sector of global operations, then this would be a great way to start that career. So you can see here, again, core modules in supply chain management, logistics, enterprise systems, so supply chains, smaller scale operations, not just corporates, modeling, supply chain, very important, forecasting, and again, the dissertation, and then a range of options whereby you can focus on warehousing or purchasing, on logistics or inventory management, things like that. Okay, I think that's the end of those slides. Like the next slide. So what I'd like to say is, whatever you choose to do, you should think about how that will map where you think your career will go and what sort of career you're looking for. If you're looking to work in a small scale company that has international exports, say, then any of those programs will give you the background that you need. But you might want to focus on one rather than another, depending on the nature of the product or service where you want to work. As Anna has already said, all our academics have good research backgrounds. They're producing current research, so they're involved in developing the forefront of where knowledge is, and that really is an advantage to you when you're studying at Derby. In addition, many of our staff have been working in industry as managers, and so they bring that experience with them, and also their network of contacts, which is a really good thing. When you come to Derby, we will invite you to build a network. We will invite you to join mentor sessions with corporate leaders. We will also bring in experienced consultants, and they give you an opportunity to network with those. Our research areas, you can see we've got two big centres, the Centre for Business Improvement, which covers all of the areas and the disciplines that we've looked at in our degrees. It also covers sustainable business and green and clean growth. So if you're interested in those areas, they will be embedded in your programs. And we also have an internationally renowned Centre for Supply Chain Improvement. So it's a big area of research in our DBS. You see a little pile of books there. 4 of those are actually my books. It's not, I didn't take the picture, but it's just to show you that we are involved, and we do actually produce educational material as well as research. So next slide, please. Now, one of the things about Derby is we have some fantastic facilities for your study. And you can see some pictures there of our finance lab, our Bloomberg Lab. We have Bloomberg directly into the university site, and it is one of the main global professional databases. Now, the reason we show you that is that you all have the potential, if you study here, to work in the Bloomberg Lab, and we will be able to give you an opportunity to get a Bloomberg certificate as well for free, which normally costs £200 to do. Now, you will be working on whichever program you choose to study on at Derby. You would be working on consultancy projects. Our assessments are largely, apart from accounting and finance, the Msc Accounting and Finance, our assessments are largely coursework, and we engage you with business and real world data. So you might be working with a live brief. You might have a company come in and you're going to look at a new business market for them. You might be using current data that's streaming live. You can see it on the Bloomberg screen there. So you're actually looking at what's happening today and analyzing in real time. We will provide you with a series of networking events where business leaders come in to network on the university side, and you can join them. It's a fantastic opportunity to really engage with people that will be able to help you in the future. We'll organize study trips and visits. We might be going to London to look at the stock exchange, or we might be going to local businesses, regional businesses like Toyota, Rolls-Royce, to show you how those businesses are working and their production processes. So all of our assessments really are around working with current and live information rather than old case studies. And we also have lots of lectures going on across the university. And by the way, if you attend some of these extracurricular activities, they can all go towards an additional award. It's non-credit bearing, but it does appear on your final transcript, and it will show, it's called the Futures Award. So we give you lots of opportunities to benefit from these. Next slide, please. So where do our students go? Well, our students go into a range of different areas, right from in the third sector, so perhaps in the charitable sector, but many of our students go into government positions, some of them local, some of them national positions. So students have gone, for example, from our international business programs into central banks. They've gone into government corporations. They go into global corporations, for example, like Rolls-Royce and JCB, PricewaterhouseCoopers, many of these. And we have connections with these, like DHL, which is centered in our region. And we have a major, at a regional airport, we have a major DHL center. All of these organizations work with us. They often provide internships, short-term internships for our students. And even as a postgraduate student, you can work part-time on some of these internships and get experience of working with these organizations. So we really support our students. We have a fantastic careers development service, and they will be able to help you develop your potential if you want to choose a specific career path. Next slide. So it's over to you, Anna. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we've talked about all of the programs that you might be interested in applying for. For the postgraduate programs, we would require an undergraduate bachelor's degree, normally with a GPA of 2.5 or 3.0 for the postgraduate programs. We do, with some of the programs mentioned, you require specific undergraduate programs. So, for example, the international business, you would need a business background, and the accounting and finance, you would need a bachelor's degree in accounting and finance. But we do also have an MSc management program that if you have a different background, you can come and study some management modules at the university and come out with an MSc in management. For all of our postgraduate programs, you will need to show proof of English. So you would need an IELTS of 6.5 with a minimum of 5.5 in all areas. Or we do accept some alternative qualifications. The best place to check is on the website. There's a full list of what we do accept, or you can get in contact with us in the international office. We do also offer a Derby English language test. So it's very, very similar to the IELTS test. You will study the 4 areas: speaking, listening, reading and writing. It's an online test that can be taken. It's cheaper than the IELTS test, so some students would choose that over the IELTS, but what we would say is that other universities won't accept that or might not accept that, so you would only really consider the Derby English language test if you're only applying to Derby, because other universities would still require an IELTS, but that's an option for you, and we can tell you more about that. When you're making an application to the university, SI UK can obviously support you with all of the documents that you'll need, but it's an online application form. We would need to see your transcript and your degree certificate. Then we would require 2 references from either academic references if you've been studying, or we sometimes can accept an employer reference as well. You would show your proof of English, and then we would need to see your passport and a personal statement. So this is a short piece of writing that talks about why you want to study in the UK, why you want to study at Derby, what are your particular passions for that programme and why you want to study that programme. And all of this will be considered by the programme leaders and the admissions team in terms of whether you get made an offer to study with us. So coming to the university and studying in the UK is a real investment in your future, and you'll have two main costs that you will need to cover. So you would need to cover your programme fee for 2022. For this September, our postgraduate fee is £14,700 per year. But we do have scholarships and discounts that can be applied to this, and I'll talk about those on the next slide. And then the other cost that you will need to cover is your cost of living. So you will need to have enough money to support yourself for the whole year that you are staying in the United Kingdom. You will need to provide your accommodation costs. So the university has a range of accommodation that we can put you up in. The range is between about £113 and £150 per week. And then on top of that, you would need to provide money for your food and then clothing, socialising. So they're about the average costs. Obviously, they can change depending on how much you want to go out and how much you want to eat out. Lots of students will stay in the University of Halls and they will cook together and socialise within that area so that you can save money on food. But obviously, Derby has lots of bars and restaurants as well if you want to go out. Between the accommodation, there's also the unibus. So you'd need to think about costs of transport around the city. But like we've said, it's a very compact city. It's very easy to get around. You would be walking 15, 20 minutes maximum, I would say, between your lectures, the city centre, and your accommodation. So in terms of scholarships and discounts, this year we have a range of exciting scholarships and discounts. So for students that are from Thailand, we are offering again this year the Great Scholarship. So this is in conjunction with the British Council, and it provides £11,000 towards your programme fee. So it's a large amount. It's the 3rd year in a row now, I think, that we've had a Thai Great Scholar. So you can have a look on the website as well. One of our current Thai students who had this scholarship has written a little bit of a blog about that, talking about how it's supported her to come to the UK. And then we have other scholarships as well. So our Vice Chancellor Scholarship is for a very limited amount of students, but that would pay for your entire programme fee for the year. And then we have International Excellent Student Scholarships worth £5,000 and the International Merit Scholarship worth £1,500. Anything above the 5,000, so the 5,000 Vice Chancellor and the Great Scholarship, you would need to submit a separate application. We would recommend that you wait until you've had an offer to study with us before you submit that application. But if you do have an offer with us, you can go through the website and you can apply for one of those scholarships. We would ask that so this year we're asking you submit about 500 words and talking about a subject that's inspired you to study that chosen program and your career aspirations in terms of that subject area. And then we do also have this year a £2,000 postgraduate scholarship. So this is automatic for most eligible international students that are coming on to a postgraduate talk program at the university. We will automatically apply a £2,000 discount, so taking that course fee down to £12,700. That can be combined with the International Merit Scholarship, but it can't be combined with the Great Scholarship for the Vice Chancellors. So all of the terms and conditions for our scholarship are on our website, so you can read more about what you would need to do to qualify to get one of those. So at the university, we talked briefly about the support you might get on programs, but in terms of your entire experience at the university, we want to make sure that you're as happy as possible so that you can focus on your learning. So each of our colleges has a college student centre, and they can support you with any questions that you might have in terms of international study, or if you require any letters for anything, they can help you there. You will get allocated a personal tutor on your enrolment at the university, and they can be there to support you with any questions that you might have around your degree and your modules. And then we talked about, we do have library support on site, and we have an on-site doctor's surgery to support health and wellbeing, and we have a student wellbeing team, so they can offer support and guidance on a range of topics in your personal life. And then the SMART team as well, they can support you with any questions that you might have on fees and finance. So whether that's any questions you might have if you're struggling with meeting any of your costs at university. We have the Careers and Employment Service. They can support you for 3 years after you've graduated from the university. And they hold regular events, and they can support you with things like interview techniques and looking at your CV. And then on site, we also have the Multi-Faith Centre with a range of different religions that are represented by different pastors there. And we have the Derby English Language Centre, which can support you whilst you're studying if you do have any questions about English language. So whether that's academic English or presentation English, if you're struggling with some of the things on your programme. When you enrol at the university, you'll automatically become a member of the Union of Students. So the Union of Students runs more than 60 societies at the university, from academic societies to active to charity, religious and cultural. So you might want to join one of those. It helps you make friends. We have a Derby Worldwide Society, which is our international society. And the Union of Students can also help with advice as well. The International Society often puts on events. So we're holding an event in the next few weeks. We're having an event for international students where everyone can come together and share their culture and background. And also we've got lots and lots of team sports at the university. So generally on a Wednesday afternoon in the United Kingdom, there aren't any lectures, and students can play competitively in the leagues against other universities. So if you did enjoy sport, there's lots and lots of teams that you can join, from football to horse riding to rowing, and lots and lots of different ones. So I talked briefly about the cost of student living. So we actually have 9 halls in Derby, and they're all, like I said, 10 to 20 minutes walking distance from our campus. Living in halls is a really good place to start when you move to a different country. So all of our halls have, the rent includes the bills, you'll get free Wi-Fi, you'll get TV, and there's 24-hour security and weekly cleaning. So you know that fee that you're paying every week has inclusive of all of those things. and it can support you to make friends and to just to feel a bit more safe as where you're arriving in the UK. There is private accommodation options in Derby, and if you did look at wanting to live in a private house, we would recommend that you go through our website, because we do have a scheme that approves landlords, so that we make sure that the accommodation that you are renting privately is up to scratch, really. Then you just need to consider that you would need to pay your bills on top of that. So there's a couple of things to think about, but lots of our international students come into halls and have a really nice time. There's lots of social areas, there's table tennis, they have different events held in the common rooms, and it's a really nice way of kind of getting to know people from all over the university in your halls. So thank you for listening. It's been really nice to have you here. One of the things that's really good on our website is called Derby On Demand. You can sign up to Derby On Demand, and there's lots and lots of videos about the university, about student life, about different program areas, and you can have tours of accommodation and of the facilities. So that's one way of getting more information about the university. And you can contact us at international@derby.ac.uk, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Derby Uni to see what life's like at the university and in Derby. And yeah, get in touch at any point if you have any questions. I think I'm going to pass back now, because hopefully there's some questions that we can answer for you right now.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your presentation. So it's gonna be like Q&A section after this. So I will ask the student if they have the question. Yes, wait a sec. สำหรับน้องๆท่านใดที่มีคำถามหรือข้อสงสัยนะคะ สามารถถามได้เลยนะคะ น้องปังมีคำถามไหมเอ่ย เดี๋ยวพี่อันมิวให้นะคะสักครู่นะคะ I got one question from Park. So he would like to know about the full scholarship for Thai student.
Okay.
Yes.
So for the full scholarship.
Yes.
Yeah. So the full scholarship is the Vice Chancellor's scholarship. So students from all over the world can apply for this scholarship. So it's very competitive. So I think you would need to be having quite a high GPA of possibly kind of over 3.6, 3.8, depending on who is applying. But you can make a separate application through the website, and you can apply for that scholarship as well as the Great Scholarship if you wanted to. So although the Great Scholarship is a slightly lesser amount, it still is £11,000 towards your course fee is a good amount. So you can apply for both of those at the same time. And we will assess you against those. We don't offer scholarships that cover the living costs. So we have the range of scholarships and discounts. They all come off your tuition fee. So they would reduce that cost of your tuition, but you would still then need to fund the cost of living. So you would still also need to think about your accommodation and your living costs.
Okay, thank you. And so I will ask other student if they have more question.
Yeah.
Okay. น้องๆที่มีคำถามสามารถถามได้เลยนะคะ หรือจะพิมพ์มาในช่องแชทเป็นภาษาไทยก็ได้ค่ะ น้องธีรธรมีคำถามอะไรไหมคะอันมิวได้เลยนะ
Hi Siri, I think we have some questions on YouTube chat box. Could you please cover them?
Okay, sure. I will like look at it.
Yeah, please.
But first, a sec. I think we have like some question from YouTube, like they want to know about the deadline of the accommodation. So, could you please like give me a little bit about like the accommodation details?
Yeah. So we guarantee international students a place in one of our halls of residence if they apply by the end of August. So we start the term at the end of September. You would need to have applied for accommodation by the end of August. We can't guarantee which halls that will be. So if there's a particular halls that you do want to stay in, we would say apply sooner rather than later. Because some of the halls with kind of the ensuite bathrooms included in the room do get booked up more quickly. But if you're worried about not getting a room, you will get a room somewhere if you apply by the end of August. You can apply to university accommodation as soon as you have a conditional offer and you've accepted that offer. So even if you have an offer that's conditional on you completing your undergraduate program and you're not going to get your final certificate until June or July, once you've had that conditional offer and you have accepted that offer at the university, you can then start to apply for accommodation. So there's a small fee that's a deposit towards applying for the accommodation. And if you are then successful to come to the university, then that will be taken off your first month's rent. But yeah, it depends where you want to stay. If there's a particular hall, I would say try and have a look and apply as soon as you can. But end of August, we say we will guarantee you. It's not to say that if you apply after August, you won't be able to get a room. There might still be rooms, but we can't guarantee it.
Thank you. And so we have like more question like about like, your course. Like if the student they don't have like the background from like business, so can he apply for this course?
Do you want me to take that one?
Yes, I mean like yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, you can apply for the MBA if you have a non-business related degree, but it would depend upon how good your qualification was and whether or not you had any work experience. So it's always worth putting any work experience on your on the CV and attaching your CV as well, particularly for postgraduate study, because that does count and that may well help. On MSc Marketing Management as well, you can apply even if you don't have a business degree, but again, they would be looking for some work experience that might help to take you into that program. We do as well on MSc International Business Programs, we will look at students that don't have a degree in a business related area, but again, we would be looking for some work experience, relevant work experience to compensate, because the problem with those degrees is that they assume that you have the undergraduate knowledge to move into postgraduate analysis. So that is why we've got the MSc Management degree. I didn't put it on the screen, but we do have an MSc Management degree, and it is specifically designed for students that don't have an undergraduate degree in a business-related area. So it could be anything. It could be a science degree. It could be what we call a humanities degree. So you might have studied language or literature or history, something like that. So you wouldn't necessarily have any business and management background, but our MSc Management would be a very good degree, because it will take you right from the beginning through to master's level study for your research and dissertation in management. So I would think that would be a very appropriate degree program to apply for.
Thank you. So like you open like for all different kind of background. Yes, that's very great. So I have one more question about like what if the student could not apply in like safe intake? Do they apply in January intake instead?
Yes, so if they can't apply for September, we do have a January intake.
Okay.
Do these programs have a January intake? Most of them, Melanie?
I think the only one I'm not sure about is MSc Management. Yes, MSc Management. All the others have a January intake. So you start in January rather than in September. And you work, if you come in January, what happens is that you join the existing cohort of students. So you won't be studying with just students that are January start. You'll be studying with all the other students, because every module, every course that you do in a MBA or the MSc, it doesn't matter which order you study them in, because they're all at master's level. There isn't you don't have to study one before another. So you can join the program in January and you study for 12 months rather than joining in September and studying for 12 months. But you'll join the other students, so you won't be on your own. But yes, we do.
Okay, thank you, Malini, for answer this question. So we got like one last question from students. So she want to know about how like the university help for like the part-time job and like the graduate, when they graduate, like how they gonna find a job there.
Yeah, so as an international student on a Tier 4 visa, you can work for 20 hours per week in term time, that you can work for slightly longer during the holidays. We have the Careers and Employment Service that advertise roles at the university, and we have many students that work at the university in terms of, we have, like I said, lots of cafes on site. Students work there or they work at the student union, and there's lots of opportunities in the city to find part-time work, whether it be in restaurants or bars or in shops. So the team at Derby can support you to find part-time work, and they might advertise that internally. Some of our international students as well work closely with our marketing teams here at the university, and you can get paid to do some of that work as well to support us to promote the university in your home country.
We also have a student employment agency, and we have a series of part-time internships where the university has vetted the employer to check that it's a high quality project and that the student will be able to get good support and direction from the company. And you can agree the hours with the company. So they're short term, about 100 hours. And you can spread that across, say, the whole year of your study, or you could just condense it into a few months across holiday time. But officially, these are part-time and they are vetted so that they're well paid and they're developmental. They're meant to develop your graduate potential. So there are a lot of those, and our international students do take up those opportunities. And our career service advertises them regularly. So I'm sure if you went onto our career service pages today, you would see some of those short-term internships available.
Okay, is that very clear, Melanie and Anna? So what you want to talk with like Thai student before we're gonna end this section? We have like about 10 minutes left here. Yes.
So just kind of to say, hopefully we've provided as much information as possible, but if you do have any further questions on the university, you can go onto our website. All of our details are on there. The best place to go for information about programs is on the program page, and that details all of the lecturers and the program leaders on there with their contact details. We have an international web page specifically for students from Southeast Asia with contact details on who to contact if you've got any questions on there. And there's some really nice case studies of current international students, so you can find out more information. But other than that, I think we've probably covered everything for today. Melanie, do you have anything further to add?
No, I think if you go on to the web pages for each of the programs that we talked about today, you'll find a lot more detail about each program. And if you're specifically interested, the program leader's email address will be on the page, and they will be very happy to chat to you either by email or perhaps by they can set up a Zoom meeting or something if you want to chat to them directly. So we're always happy to answer your questions, and you will find all of our staff, academic staff, all the support staff are really friendly and very helpful.
Yeah, the other thing that you can look at for advice from current students is something called UniBuddy, which is on our website, and there's lots of students that have signed up to that. So if you've got any questions about life and studying at Derby from a student's point of view, then that's also a really good resource that you can have a look at. But yeah, the website has lots and lots of information on it that you can kind of have a flick through at your own leisure, and then let us know if you've got any further questions. But other than that, just to say thank you for coming and listening to us.
Thank you for you guys too. Like this is so amazing. So thanks for joining us. Thank you. ขอบคุณน้อง
Thank
ๆที่
you.
เข้าร่วมสัมมนาออนไลน์เรียนต่อด้านธุรกิจที่ดาร์บี้นะคะ ตอนนี้เราเสร็จเรียบร้อยแล้วค่ะ Have a lovely day. Bye.